Today's video is not a church crawl. It's a very murky February walk to find the site of some interesting Roman archaeology, including burials. Nothing to see today, but I just want to go and see what the site looks like. It's in Heslington, specifically Heslington East, on the periphery of York, bordering on the Vale of York, which I've done a video about before when I went to Skipwith Common. So let me take you along the way and we'll head up towards Heslington East. So the site specifically is called Kimberlow Hill, and it's not much of a hill, it's only 30 metres above sea level. But it's in between what is now the Heslington East development of the University of York and Grimston Bar Park and Ride on the way out towards Hull. And between 2007 and 2011 there was some archaeological digs going on up there in 3 areas specifically, because the university was expanding even further out that way, as we'll see when we get there. And they dug up some very interesting finds indeed, and we'll talk about them more when we get there and the site specifically. I'm just really interested to see what it looks like now. But if you want to know more about this, there's a great article on a website called The Post Hole by one of the university teaching staff who was involved in the digs and the project over those 4 years. And this article talks at length about the great community involvement with students of the university, volunteers, also involvement from York Archaeology, then York Archaeological Trust, and also a firm called On-Site Archaeology. But we're nearly there. Getting back to me, we're nearly there. I'm just on Tanghall Lane and we're going to cut up. The walk is about 2 or 3 miles out the city centre, and I'm just over halfway there, so we'll be there soon. We'll cut through this desire path to get to the road just outside the university campus. So this is the ascent to Kimberlow Hill, and you got a Greggs and a Papa John's and a red chilli just at the bottom in case you want a snack before you go up. And let's go and find the site over that way.
This rural site offered a unique opportunity to understand multi-period settlement in the Vale of York from prehistory to the end of the Roman period. There are several active spring heads on the hillside of Kimberlow Hill, which probably created an area of standing water to the south beginning in the early post-glacial period. Even in our times, the combination of the underlying geology, natural gradient and effect of weather on this site have preserved much of the archaeology we can talk about today. Most finds between 2007 and 2011 were flint and work stone dating to the Neolithic and Bronze Age. The Iron Age evidence was more apparent in terms of building and settlement, where there were several round huts around the spring heads. Within a substantial spring head deposit, an Iron Age skull was recovered and is unique for the preservation of human brain tissue, largely due to the unusual waterlogged conditions. It also appears to have been hung and decapitated. Significant Roman settlement was also identified in the form of domestic masonry and timber buildings, the use of landscape features including large ditches, cobbled trackways and terracing. A 3-metre deep stone-lined well, which was backfilled deliberately when it went out of use with a range of cattle skulls and animal bones, was also unique to the site. This is of extraordinary construction in a British context and joins York's archaeological record for such wells as the sophisticated timber-lined well found on Skeldergate in the city centre. Also found was a probable tower mausoleum. 5 adult inhumations and 5 perinatal inhumations were discovered of Roman date. Unusually, the skull of one young adult male had been pinned to the ground with large nails. This individual was associated with that tower mausoleum, whilst the second burial nearby also had nails next to the skull. The only parallels for this derive from Greek and Roman burials in a Mediterranean context. This adds to our growing knowledge of how the Romans buried their dead, sometimes in strange ways.
Okay, so that's all for today. I hope that was relatively enjoyable. There's not a lot to see there, but a very interesting old prehistoric site. And I was really excited about the Roman finds and the archaeology that came from that site. So it's good to go and see, one to tick off if you're interested and ever in York, in this part of York near the university, towards the east of the city. Next time we'll get back to a church crawl. So see you later.